Hello and welcome to Simon Says Artwork. In this video it's going to be the 17th instalment of the Inktober challenge that I've been doing with my left hand since having an injury on my right hand, which is now healed, but I'm still drawing with my left hand until the 30th. Well, even on the 30th, but on the 31st I'm going to try and do a drawing with both hands at the same time. I don't know if that's going to go well or not, but either way, that's the plan. That's what I'm going to end up doing. Thank you everyone for watching this far if you have. And if you're new to this channel, then please check out all the previous videos because I've been doing different types of drawings all the way through. And because I'm now at a point where I realized yesterday that I've done 185 videos on my YouTube channel and there are 15 days left in the month, which means that on the 31st of October, when I do this double hand drawing, it's going to be the 200th video on my channel. And that's going to make it kind of a special video, and I'm going to sort of change up the channel from that point, which I've made a lot of announcements like this before, but I think from this point now I'm going to be able to start adding in these other things. And there are certain changes that I want to make to these videos because they've become quite formatted, and I think if I can offer more to the audience and just sort of do it a little bit better, then I might be able to grow my audience and expand a little bit more, which is ultimately the goal, to be honest, is to have more views, more likes, more interaction with a larger audience. So for this one, what I'm going to do, because I'm at this point, is now start to introduce different pens, my grayscale pens. These are Tombow brush pens. I mean, they're dual tip, so you've got a bullet point nib on one end, which I don't really use that often, and then the brush pen, which is just a flexible nib, really. It's not actual bristles, but it's nice, you know, it's nice and wide so that you can do kind of large, thick strokes with it. And then I'm also going to use this Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, which I was gifted from my brother a month ago, I think it was, or maybe it was, I think it was a month ago, which is a lovely, lovely pen. And I'm going to use that for some of the details at the end. So, okay, let's get started. Okay, so I got these 5 pens out. It turns out I only used 3 of them, but I thought at the time that if I can get out a few pens to try to vary up the marks that I'm going to make. And I do enjoy using these grayscale pens, but this lighter one seems to be dying. So I used the darker one and it was a little bit too dark, and I wish I would have held back a little bit on it, because if I use a grayscale brush pen that's not quite as dark as this, it makes quite interesting kind of mid-tone to sit beneath the black. I've done it before and it works really quite well. But there we are. It's something where as soon as I've made the marks, it just makes it easier to draw something on top of it. And I didn't go too far with this character. I just started putting in some basic bits and pieces, and I quite like it. It's something where, because I left it quite minimal, I think it adds a bit more than if I would have gone too heavy with it. And I'm glad that I did this outline to try to heighten what the character looks like. I think that really helps. So yeah, I quite like the introduction of the grayscale brush pens. I think they do add quite a bit. But on this next page here, oh, here we go. I do a couple of little additions on this one. But on this next page, the way that I start is just to try and do the shadow shapes. Like I used to do this a lot with biros and fine liners, and I thought if I do this with the grayscale brush pen, then I can go over it with the black. But to be honest, it just turned out looking like the drawings that I used to do with my right hand quite often when I wouldn't be drawing like I'd like to, because it's not the most interesting looking character from the front. And I don't know, it's not terrible. I shouldn't really complain, because for a left-handed drawing, it's getting there. It's something which I don't think I would have been able to do at the start of the month. So I think now I'm just kind of getting a bit more selective, which is not a bad thing. And I always try to say on this channel that if I can offer the audience anything, it's how critical you need to be of your art in order to make art that is improving and closing the gap between what you make and the art which is made by people who you really admire. So what happens here is that I just create this face, and it's kind of not the worst thing, but it's kind of, you know, just trying to add bits and pieces of the anatomy where I think it'll fit, and it's okay, but it's not realistic, and it's also not stripped back and super minimal. So I do the hair, and then I try to think, oh, should I add some shine to the hair, or where should I leave it? And I don't know, there's a million ways that you can finish a drawing like this, and the way that I did was just to bail out of it completely and just think, no, you know, I'm just going to take out everything that I've been working up on with this shine on the hair, because I don't mind it, but it's a real heightened focus to do that on the hair, and it just didn't work quite as well as it should have done. And I think, I don't know, depending on how you're thinking, you can sometimes make something out of this. And this whole shirt and collar thing, I do it quite often, and as soon as I did it, I thought, you know, I don't really like it, I'm going to pull it back and take it all out. So when I do that, I'm glad already that I'm taking out all of that stuff, because I just think it's not necessary. And I think it's also more striking just to have the look of the face, and then to try and carve away into that a little bit. Now, with the drawings like this, it's literally just trying to warm me up into drawing with my left hand, so that I'm ready for the end of the month when I'm going to draw with both hands at once, and trying to get a little bits of these details a little bit more second nature, and parts of that worked, so it's not a complete loss. Plus, introducing the grayscale brush pens is something which I've left out for a while, and I thought, since I'm pretty much just over halfway through this month's challenge, it'll be nice to to start incorporating some grey as well as the black. Now, it's not the greatest achievement on this instalment of the Inktober, so you'll have to forgive me for keeping it quite basic, but at the same time, it's at least shows you the potential of having these different toned brush pens. Now, they're really fun, and they do definitely have a great effect on the image to give more tone and balance, but I just wasn't really feeling it as much with this face on the right. The face on the left I really like, even though it didn't take as long. Now, there's something a bit Frankensteinish about the image on the right, and I know that it's Halloween's coming up, so it's not the worst thing in the world to have something which is a bit more horror looking, but it wasn't intentional, and I often try not to do something that's a bit too strong chinned, so that was just a weird accident, but I leave it there, and I definitely think it could be worse, and it's a nice little introduction for the grayscale pens, so that's where I got up to. Okay, that is the drawings done. Now, I prefer one page to the other, and I don't know if you agree, but I really find this quite interesting. As much as it's all strange with the marks around the face, I think the way the face has turned out is quite nice. I just think it's got kind of a quality to it, which I quite like, as far as it looks as though it could be light coming from a window or something like that, or just something where light is coming through and being blocked by something like either blinds or a plant or something like that. So it's got weird light shining on the face, makes that quite interesting. This other face is like faces that I have drawn before from imagination. They're both from imagination, but this is what I draw like with my right hand when I'm just trying to warm up and just getting out all of the ideas that don't go anywhere. And I say that because it's a straight on face, which I don't think you get a lot of the time. It's not the most interesting way to view faces, but there we are. That's what it's turned out like. I like the fact that the grayscale brush pens give me the opportunity to cover a lot of the background space with this darker tone. And yeah, that's where I got up to. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, share this with any friends and family, anyone who you think might enjoy art videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.